Hello, welcome to Fitz on Flix. I am Fitz, this is my friend Murph.
Presidents.
Right, movie about a president. Movie called Frost Nixon. We saw this week, starring Frank Langella as Richard Nixon and Michael Sheen as David Frost, the reporter extraordinaire journalist who wants to get the scoop. Murph, did you like this movie? What's it about?
I did, yes.
Would you like to tell the people what it's about?
No,
Or should I?
you tell. Why don't you tell them? You like that stuff.
Okay, I'll tell everybody. So you get David Frost. He's a reporter journalist. He's had some success in America with be it different TV shows and interviews and things like that. But lately, not so good in America. Meanwhile, he's over in Europe doing some shows over there. But he really wants to get some success back in America. Meanwhile, we got this guy named Richard Nixon, who was a president of the United States of America. I think he was like the 36th or 7th or 8th. Somewhere in there, but he wasn't the 4th president. He was definitely in the 30s. Oh, okay. Anywho, so Richard Nixon does this stuff. There's this whole thing called Watergate. Things happen at Watergate. Trouble ensues. Richard Nixon has to step down from office and not be president anymore. So he leaves. Meanwhile, David Frost wants to get a good interview with somebody. He starts thinking, you know what? I'm going to interview Richard Nixon, President Richard Nixon. I'm going to interview him because everybody else wants to. So through a series of backdoor deals and money and, hey, handshakes, he's going to do an interview over a series of a number of days. He's going to do this interview, and the movie's about everything leading up to the interviews, and the interviews themselves. Movie, Frost Nixon. By the way, directed by Ron Howard, who gave us such classics as Splash and Apollo 13, and has a little brother named Clint, who is in this movie as well. Murph, what did you think of this movie?
This movie was excellent. I really liked this movie a lot. I thought Frank Langella, who plays President Nixon, was fantastic. Even though I don't even know who Nixon is.
He was the president.
He was before I was born, so I don't know the guy.
Well,
but apparently from scholars around me, he did a dead-on Nixon. I just thought he was awesome.
He was fantastic as Richard Nixon.
Michael Sheen was really good too. I liked him.
And
you know what I was going to say? It's a funny thing about this movie is it's about an interview. I mean, I guess I don't want to give it away, but this Nixon president did some things. I don't want to spoil it, but it's basically about trying to get him to confess or show guilt or remorse. And it's an interview, right? Why would I be interested in that?
I don't know.
But it had me in there. It was compelling. I was thinking to myself the whole time, like, this movie is about an interview? And why am I so into this? I don't understand.
I agree with you. It's interesting. I think we feel the exact same about the movie as far as, I don't know why, why this should just be interesting. It's just an interview. Where we take a turn is, you at some point say, well, it's just about an interview, why should I be, into it? But you somehow were. I somehow was not. I got bored after a while. The characters, based on true people, but I felt like I already, there was nothing new, nothing I didn't know. There was nothing, okay, David Frost, he's trying so hard. He wants to get this interview. He's putting up his own money. He wants that respect. But I felt like they didn't dwell on any one particular problem, say he was having, for longer than a couple minutes. It was like this problem, then this problem, and now he's at a party. And I didn't think I got to know David Frost. If I didn't know anything about Frost or Nixon, I think I would have walked away not thinking I knew David Frost very well. Nixon, I might feel like I know him a little more. They spent some time with him. And I think that's partly Frank Langella, who does just such an amazing job. Not to say Michael Sheen doesn't do a great job, but Frank Langella,
you learn a lot
unbelievable.
You learn a lot about David Frost from this. You learn he's at least gives you the appearance that he's more interested in, going out and living the life as this glamorous TV host. He's not even really a journalist. He's a performer.
He is a performer. That's true.
And it's basically, you got his team of researchers, Oliver Platt, Sam Rockwell, and some other guy, I don't know his name. He looked like the guy that was in The Doors.
I thought the same thing. If you see The Doors, and the keyboardist in The Doors...
Ray Manzarek?
Yes, that's because
I think it was Kyle MacLachlan, but it wasn't Kyle MacLachlan, was it?
It wasn't Kyle MacLachlan, but he did look like Kyle MacLachlan looked in The Doors, which I don't think makes the movie any better or worse. It's just an interesting fact. Looks like
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Well, these three guys are researching. They're trying to get. They want to nail Nixon to the wall, and Frost is like, "All right, I'm going to go out with my girlfriend. We go to a movie premiere."
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that's who David Frost was. That's what I gathered. It's he wanted to do this no other than to make himself look good and to say, "Oh, I got an interview with President Nixon." He didn't seem as enthusiastic as the other people, or as the American public at that time wanted.
You know, that's an excellent point, and I think you're absolutely right. I think the movie wanted to show him as a guy that wanted to get this interview down. I think maybe the movie failed in that sense because it showed Frost as really. I don't think he cared that much. Maybe it's the last moment he was like, you know what?
Exactly.
I want this final day of interviews to go great. I thought Nixon. I mean,
or maybe that's how it really was.
Perhaps. You know, if I ever see David Frost, I'm definitely going to ask him. I mean, this movie though, I guess I was just bored by it. I mean, you know, it wasn't terrible. I wasn't compelled. I wasn't feeling like, you know, that much sympathy for any of the characters really. I mean, Nixon, the one thing you get out of this movie, at least this movie's take on Nixon, was all he really wanted to do was be liked. Well, you know what? If all you want to do is be liked, don't be president of the United States. That's a bad thing to do if you want to be like. Review movies.
Exactly.
And everybody is going to love you.
Things
Everywhere you
great.
go, people are going to high-five you. They're going to buy you drinks or Big Macs, whatever. And that's what you want to do. Richard, you dropped the ball. So other than that, I mean, hey, not a terrible movie, but I myself don't think worth spending your $8 to $10 and going out and seeing. Wait for the DVD or on cable. That's me.
I'm going to say anyone that was born after 1974, you should see this because it's very important to know what went on before you were alive with the presidency. Like, I have no idea.
Okay.
Apparently, you learned this in some sort of weird college where they taught about the presidents. But, you know, the common Joe like me, we don't know these things.
That's true.
See the movie. It's awesome.
All right, well there you go. So Murph, excellent as always, brilliant.
Thanks,
And
man.
you've been had.
Again.
It's good. So we'll talk to you soon. You guys have a wonderful week and get some popcorn. Bye.